Hello and welcome to Opinions Plus. My last clip on Putin and my mentioning in that clip a social stupidity, which I've mentioned before in other clips, but it's a reasonable um, academic discussion. It involves critical thinking. It involves human nature. It involves a variety of things, and it involves language as well. Social stupidity isn't just how to, say, oh, wow, you're fat, or, you know, your complexion looks like crap, or whatever. That's just, saying things that are impractical at the time or causing embarrassment or whatever. Those are very limited, spontaneous expressions to create a bad feeling. The concept of social stupidity, in which I am talking about, is not new to the human species. It's been around for centuries and centuries, as long as people have been hoarding, or I don't know, hoarding together, you living together in different groups, developing concepts such as nationalism and, religious organizations and all types of things. It uses the ability of the mind, and there is no rationale for it. There's no reason that I've been able to find about why this is, or if it's a manifestation of the society in which we have, or whatever. But you see this social stupidity around everywhere. You saw it, as I mentioned, with this Putin thing. He's ruining his country, and yet it's okay. There's a ignoring of the problem. Not universally. There's 9 billion people. This isn't like it affects everybody, but it's the majority. How it affects the more like the powerful minority. The majority gets involved too. It's a very complex type of thing. Why don't you tell your children that Santa's not real? Why don't you do these type of things? You just do them. Is it good? Is it fun? You have some simple labels, but that's about it. But when you drill down to it, you're following a standard. You're following a social context that weaves through the entire structure of humanity. We do follow. We're following beings. And the social stupidity, and I did mention this in this last clip, this stardom thing. People follow these stars and wear what they wear and listen to every word, and, all this other stuff. I remember a story about, I think it was Clark Gable, who took years back in the 30s, whatever, when he first became a superstar, took off his T-shirt in one of these movies back then, which was a risque thing to do. Now it's like the everyday thing to do, and T-shirt sales went down like bang, huge. Well, he didn't do that again for a while because, the manufacturers went to the movie makers and said, hey, don't do that kind of shtick. Well, that's part of this social stupidity concept. I'm not going to go into every detail of it. It's a very complex theory. There's PhDs, there's studies, there's works, there's literature on this. And it's really a phenomenon which will lead people to a very dangerous place in our future, our particular future, your future, my future, right here and now. And this is why we have to fight against it. Some of the stuff you can't fight against because it's ingrained. You do it. You dress like the others. You rip your jeans so you look like you're somebody else down the street or whatever. You do things like this. But when it comes to national issues, when it comes to, life and death issues, we have to be aware that these things affect so many and not ignore it. Not ignore it. That's the thing. You have to get engaged in it. And there's not one way to get engaged, just like there's not one way to follow. But to get engaged, to use critical thinking, to develop what is the road to decency and honor and goodness. For everybody, not just for you, not just for me, not just for the kids. They talk about the kids, everything's for the kids, when what they do is not for the kids. Gun laws, for example. Nobody does squat about the gun laws. There's fighting, but who cares about the kids? Put more guards on them. We want to have guns. There's a social pressure, and you can call it whatever you want. The buzzword I have is social stupidity. But it's just, it could be called anything, And herdism or whatever. You get into occultism or whatever. But it's bigger than that. It's a part of the human species. We've got to understand that we have this failing, if you will. We have to understand that going to the good means more than just saying, oh, let's go good. Sounds good. Let's not eat too much sugar, or let's, not drive drunk. Now, that's a good one, too. When I was younger, driving drunk was fine. Did it all the time. 17 years old, 18 years old. Went up to New York State, got drunk because it was 18 to drink there. Hey, then Mothers Against Drunk Driving started to get engaged. They changed the justice system's perspective. They did it. They changed it. Now DUIs are a big problem. Everybody's concerned about it. You get, designated drivers and all that. Before, we just drove drunk. And, not everybody, of course. It's not an all or nothing thing. Again, I said there's 9 billion people in the world. But think about it. Social stupidity. Go to the good. How it relates to one another. This is an exercise we all have to engage in. Look around us. See what is good. See what is better for everybody. See that lying is not a attribute. It's a negative. See that honor is something that is an attribute. See that, respecting other service in the military or denigrating the flag is not an attribute just because somebody does it. Somebody you are impressed with does it. Think about it. Think about how it affects us. Think about how it might impact us in the future. And not only us, but our country, our world. We are a big human race. We are not just one American, Russian, Ukrainian. We're a human race. We have to act like it. Thanks for listening. Take care. If you like what you hear, subscribe, hit the like button, and comment. Always put your comments down. Honor, decency. You have to go there. Why do we ignore it? Why do we change from it? Why do we accept that alternative dark side, as it were? Social stupidity? Maybe. Evil influences? Maybe. But it's something that can be worked on. Thanks for listening. Go to the good. Keep hope alive. Bye for now.